actually told the story on the show once, and I don't know if we're on the show or not, or if I'm telling it, but I was tripping balls literally once, just out of my fucking mind. I was in this apartment with a bunch of people, and we were all, you know, and I was hallucinating big time. And these two people, Mindy and Kelly, this dude Kelly, this lady Mindy, they were playing with a little rubber ball on the table, a little bouncy ball, playing some little game, and I'm just like glass-eyed, you know, and I'm in and out. I don't know what's going on, and at a certain point they're talking to me, and I'm like, what? And they're like, the ball, and I'm like, this is like, what? And like I'm getting self-conscious, and like I got a hole in my sweat, so like, is my testicle hanging out? Maybe it is, because I'm tripping, man. And it's like, between your legs. I was like, oh man, my testicle must be hanging out. Like, they're like, the ball between my legs. It's like, dude, give me the ball between your. I was like, what the fuck are you saying? Like, and they're like, why is it so difficult? As it turns, so it was a little flesh-colored rubber ball. Like, it had little sparkles in it, but it was very pinkish. Like, and like I kept looking down and seeing my nut hanging out of my pants, but it wasn't my nut. It was this little rubber ball. And I was very embarrassed, and I went and sat on the couch. Tripped out over there.
Goodbye, gray sky, hello, blue. There's nothing can hold me when I hold you. It feels so right, it can't be wrong. Rocking and rolling all week long. These days are These days are
We're gonna start a show. We should probably start a show soon.
Yeah.
And you'll need the mic closer to you to talk.
Is that good?
It's probably good. You got headphones there. You can listen and see how it sounds. I think we're recording.
Do we want to leave the headphones on while we're...
I don't.
Check.
I don't.
Lead, check your face.
I forget.
I'm hearable.
It distracts me. I feel like, and I know that some people will talk quieter when they're in the headphones because they got the headphones on.
I'm naturally loud.
Yeah.
I remember when Miko DeNoche did a live recording on KXEP and KEXP, and she, the DJ Broad said, hey, let's go around and introduce yourself and say what you do. And I'm Don. I sing and I do guitar. Mike, I'm Mike. I do guitar, sing. I'm Chad. I play bass. And then I come on and it was like, I'm Reno Dave. And I mean, dude, I just blared. Yeah, I pretty much did that. I was like, whoa, all the levels went up and everything. And
that's great.
So.
Yeah, well, we're very unprofessional here.
And then, of course, it got to the point where when we did talk between songs, once I started talking, she started backing off saying, okay, we got to get to the next song now. I was just so loud, I think. And I didn't mean to be. It's just,
I understand.
Yeah.
I try to be consistent. And, I mean, I've been on the mic a lot in my life, but... It's not quite the same. Like the first episode that I ever did with Dave, I was all over the place. I was nowhere near the mic.
Yeah.
Like I was just everywhere but the mic. And
that's how Brad sings live.
Yeah.
When we were in Dirty Thieves, we would always look at him like, why are the lyrics always cutting out? This is how he was singing. Like,
yeah. It's a style. Like, and you can use that to your advantage, because like, if you can't, I once or twice, if I couldn't get something out, all of a sudden the mic's gone. Where did the mic go? I don't know where the mic went. Oh, well. It's like, if you're too active, it's just like, it's part of the excitement. It's part of the thing. So,
right.
I remember seeing Dead Letter Office at Fuster Cluck. It's like after a park show. Dead Letter Office played at the Fuster Cluck Skate Shop by Mother Records.
Oh, yeah. I was in the band at the time.
Yeah. Like, that was one of the best shows. One of the best performances and moments that I've ever experience. Like just because everyone there loved the songs,
Yeah.
loved Dead Letter Office, and the performance was amazing. But there were moments where the mic was nowhere near his face,
Right.
like, and it was just like he was just singing, but the mic got knocked away by the crowd,
Yeah.
or things like that. A lot of it, but it didn't matter. I mean, either the crowd was singing or he was singing loud enough that you could hear it, or just the emotion of the moment. Like, it was a frenzied, passionate, just special experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great. That's right, you were in the band.
Yeah, we when I started doing that with Dan and Booty, Nadir went on tour. We did a month tour, and we took Dan with us because he really, really wanted to go see his mom. And so we're like, well, then come with us. And there was a couple of shows where a band had canceled, so we had Dead Letter Office play.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, so I mean, Dan loved it because like he got to do more than he thought he was going to get to do. You know, he thought I'm going for a ride with my friends, we're playing music and going to see my mom, and then he ended up getting to hit the stage too.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I always looked for when first moving here. I always felt like, okay, you know, I mean, of course I was influenced by what was going on in Seattle because that's what we were deciding where we're going to go. We're going to go to Seattle. We're going to go to San Francisco. We're going to go to Arizona. You know, we had choices, and so we thought, well, let's look at Seattle. I mean, Talbot had already lived in San Francisco for about a year, going to school, and he was like not set on going out there. And we just felt, well, things that are fresher are coming out of Seattle. You know, the San Francisco scene had already like made its foot. So, you know, what can you do over there? So, you know, I always saw these bands. I started learning about them, how they borrowed members and they were friends and they got each other shows. And that's always what I was hoping for coming out here. And that was what we tried to deliver as Nadir. And, yeah, so we got some of that. We got some of that from some friends that, you know, we eventually like loving to play shows with Papa Wheelie. That was one of the best bands to play shows with. I mean, I remember first seeing you guys. I can't remember whose house it was at, but it was in a garage, and they ended up having to close the door on you guys because it was too loud.
It was a sunny day outside.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was middle afternoon, like early afternoon.
Yeah.
And I think one of Kurt's bands played first. I can't remember.
Grasshopper.
Was it Grasshopper? I think it was.
Or Sandpaper.
Must have been Grasshopper.
Yeah.
Unless he did something before Grasshopper, it must have been Grasshopper.
I think those were the first two, but I'm not sure.
So then it was Grasshopper.
They were both short-lived.
Yeah, yeah. And after them, it was like, you guys are too loud. So, of course, everybody knew once you guys got on there, it was going to be loud. So they closed the door. And I remember that was the first time I saw you guys. And your energy with the door closed, you guys played like you were in front of tons of people. And, you know, they were there watching you. It didn't matter. Like, there was seriously a garage door between you and eyes.
That's funny.
Yeah, and you guys tore it up. And I just remember saying, yeah, we got to play shows with these guys. Let's have them come to our house, play a house party, and reel them in.
That's funny. This would be a good segue into our show that we do. This is a show that we do every week. I'm very bad at looking into the camera. I don't usually look in the camera, but I try to. It's part of the reason why I put on Planet of the Apes over here, so I can like maybe focus on Planet of the Apes. But yes, I'm doing a show here today with Reno Dave. This is Reno Dave. I'm Potter, and this is the MAWPCAST 1 radio program. I come here, at least me, and usually one or more other people, and do a show where we play local music from the greater Tacoma area from throughout all the time, from Tacoma and beyond. And that's it. That's all of the main things. If you're new to the show, this is basically it. We talk and play music. You can find the show on various streaming services and on YouTube, and you can like and subscribe and share the show. That's always great. And there's links to the bands in the descriptions down below. It's always good to find them and support them. And today's show is going to be heavily focused on Reno Dave and some of the projects he's been in and stuff he's been working on lately. And we're happy to have him here. Woo!
Woo!
I'm not good at the YouTube thing. I just don't do it. Like I when I started doing it again, I was explaining earlier, it's like when I started doing this, it's just like I'm not going to put that kind of pressure on myself where I need to be performative. This is not what this is. This is just a vehicle for local music. Like I just happen to be the guy that is here doing it. And if someone else would have been here doing it, they'd be here doing it. I could just be a producer, but you know, it's just how it has to be. Anyway, so we were talking about some of the old days and some of the old Nadir stuff. We just opened the show up actually playing that song that was called White Lead.
White Lead.
Actually, I remembered.
That was a song that we wrote back when Talbot and I were in Reno still, and we were starting our music
rock and
scene
roll
together.
journey.
Yeah, our rock and roll journey together. We had a drummer that went to high school with us at the time. He actually moved up here with us.
What's his name?
Michael Whitten.
Michael Whitten. Now I'll never be able to forget it. I'll always be able to reference this.
Yeah.
So that's great. And is he the guy who's on the back cover?
No.
Is that Booty?
Yeah, that's Booty.
That is Booty.
Yeah.
See, because I always thought it was Booty, but then I was under the impression that he didn't play on that, but then he did play on Stog.
Yeah, he did play on Stog.
I reconciled all this, but then still confusion can leap up. It's like, did I reconcile that? No, he did. Okay, so that is Booty, and that is him on the record. And all that. But on this recording that we just heard, that was Michael Whitten.
No, that wasn't Michael, actually.
Oh, that wasn't?
So we were here maybe less than a year when Michael decided just wasn't for him, and so he moved back, and we must have gone about a year at least without having a drummer. We tried out played with a couple of guys. First drummer we played with, we were young. We were in our early 20s, and we hooked up with this guy who pretty much wanted to do it just so it was a time and a way for him to get away from home, go somewhere else and drink beer.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we were like, well, we don't really want to, have that as a, influence in our band. So thanks for trying out. And then we tried out this guy named John, who we met him. I think we put an ad out in the Rocket or something like that, one of those, or maybe a local Tacoma paper. Mm-hmm. And this guy, John, answered back, and he rolled up, and he was with us for a while. He was a lot of fun. He was a cool guy, and he did all these recordings with us. We got like a good 5 or 6 song demo with John doing the drumming.
I was not aware of that at all.
Yeah, that was because we never really got to do anything past practicing. Mm-hmm. He finally ended up having to quit because he had to move to Eastern Washington, got his girl pregnant, and they had to move. So.
Yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
So you guys moved up here like... you met Seaweed? Is that what happened?
Yeah, Scott and I went to Sacramento to see a Sub Pop tour. I was familiar with 2 of the 3 bands. That was Love Battery and Seaweed, and the other band was the Afghan Wigs, which I hadn't gotten into just yet, but a friend of mine who was at a record store, I told him, look, I love my metal, but I need something fresh, something new. Pitched me something, and so he gave me Nirvana's Bleach, Seaweed's Despised, Love Batteries Between the Eyes, and Green Day Kerplunk. That was the one album I didn't care for, but I liked Love Battery a lot. I really liked those guys. I gotta say, in my opinion, of all the bands that have come out of the scene, like a lot of people, they speak high of Screaming Trees. They speak Love Battery, man. That was for some reason it was so different. It kind of reminded me, gave me of a little bit of a Jesus and Mary Chain vibe, which I loved Jesus and Mary Chain, and except it was a little bit more raw.
Yeah, the hit song Between the Eyes. It's one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, it's the intro song, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it comes right in with that cool guitar with the fade sound, and it's really awesome.
It is. It's a great song.
So yeah, we went to that show, and Talbot was in line talking to someone about we're going to see Metallica tomorrow in Reno. They're doing the Black Album tour, and Clint Warner happened to be standing behind him and said, "Where you see Metallica?" And Scott turned around and said, "Reno, Nevada." And Clint said, "Well, I play in one of the bands here, and this is our last show. You mind if we come hang out with you guys?" Not at all. So 3 of the 5 members, Wade, John, or Owen, and Clint, and Clint's girlfriend at the time, Tammy Wren, they came up, went and saw Metallica with us, stayed the night at Talbot's parents' house, and next day talked us into coming to Tacoma and say, hey, you ought to check out Tacoma before you move to Seattle. And that was a good move.
Yeah.
It was good that happened for us because we look back on it and realize, man, we probably would have got lost in Seattle, not knowing anybody.
It was
Just-
yeah. The music scene wasn't as accessible or inviting just for an outsider necessarily. I mean, you could have been very successful, but it's also just is not as economically feasible, or I don't know. See, I look at Tacoma, especially then, but even still, as like it's very conducive to artistic creativity. Like it's cheaper to live, and there's just more like immediacy, like it's more inviting and warm and less like Seattle's where you go to get famous, and that's what that scene's kind of made for. It's that's the I forget the word I'm looking for. It doesn't matter. Go on. Continue.
Yeah, and I mean, when you mention inviting, I agree in the sense that, like, not only did these guys invite us to their home, we got to live with Clint for at least a month before we found a house, which gave us everything we needed for what we wanted to do. And it was like I think it was like $475 a month for a 3-bedroom house.
Yeah.
And a basement,
Which would have been $1,200 in Seattle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was across the street from a tavern and a bar next door to the tavern. So we got to be as loud as we wanted to because we weren't disturbing anybody in the middle of the night. And we got to have some random, folks who could hear us from standing outside smoking saying, hey, what's going on over there? And
yeah.
we met a lot of people.
That can't be undervalued. That accessibility to see, there was no internet. So our networking was much different then.
Yeah.
Like it was a very face-to-face, hands-on networking where, like, if you didn't have someone in your band who was at those parties and at those bars and in those houses after hours, your band wasn't as popular.
Nope. Yep.
You didn't.
And that was the nice thing. We brought the people to our band by telling them, come into our home.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good times.
Yeah, that was in the early to mid 90s.
Yeah. It was 92 when we moved up here, August of 92. And we got that house probably September. And I think we started having people come over around the time we had that guy, John, playing in our band. I know we had people coming over already when we first moved there, and Mike was in the band because we actually played our first party, I believe, man, I want to say, who was it that opened up? There was a band that Cheryl and Jesse were in together. And I can't even remember their last names, but they're the two that eventually were in Polecat with Wade Neal. But I feel like they had a band together and they played. And then I remember we ended up playing too when we had Mike as our drummer. And that was like the first introduction to us that we gave the people. And then, we went into the studio with Clint Warner because he had a studio in his basement, and we went in there to record, and Mike just couldn't pull it off. It was crazy. It was crazy weird. Like, we tried to do a song, Mike couldn't finish it. Let's try another one then. Maybe that was just too for now. Nope. And that was when the deciding factor was, let's go our separate ways. So, it wasn't till, I want to say after John had left the band, 95, early 95, late 94. That's when Booty finally stepped in. Now, we heard about Booty when Mike left, and we tried to recruit him, but he was in a bad place at the time. He had just lost his best friend from cancer. That they did everything together. They were in a Rush tribute band together. And so when he went, Booty's ambition for music went, and I'm just going to focus on art. And so, I remember meeting him, and him saying, I'll try you guys out. Yeah. And then he never heard from him, And we'd run into him, and I always felt like every time we ran into him, in the back of his head, he was like, oh shit, it's those guys again. They're gonna ask me. And then we would, hey, Booty, hey man, we never heard from. Oh yeah, I'll get back to you. And we never did. And then finally, there was the time where we didn't talk about it with him when we saw him, and it was at a seaweed show. Yeah. We all went to a seaweed show separately, showed up there, and I was like, I'm not going to bother asking him anymore. And then he actually pulled me and Scott aside and was like, you know what, guys, I'm going to try out for your band. And we're like, yeah, okay. we'll see you next time we see you at a show or something. And he's like, no, I'm serious this time. He goes, I realize the ambition you guys have. You're not giving up. You know, you've pushed me enough that, you know, I feel like I want to, you guys are serious. And we're like, yeah. So he came in, and he is what dynamicked us. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he first of all dominated our sound by volume. We came in there ready to play, and he had his drum set, and he hit this thing so hard. I was like, I don't know if my amp can go up any louder than it does, because I had a little small 15 cabinet with a small, like, I don't remember what the head was, something that I pulled out of a PV preamp, or one of those PV combo amps.
Yeah.
I feel like I took that out because the speaker in that was horrible, and I tried to plug it in, try to make my own thing happen. And then that's when I had to go buy some loud gear to meet up with him. So I did. So yeah, he really helped stretch us to where we wanted to really be.
This would be a really good segue into playing. Well, the reason that you came in today is because you put a bunch of vocals on some old Nadir songs.
We had a full-length record ready to be continued on, and we had all the music lined out, and we were putting some vocals on, and that was when the band came to a halt. So yes, these are 9 tracks that some of them, 2 of them have been released on compilations, so they've been heard, but all the other ones have never been heard, recorded-wise. We played them live, but yeah. So the music is all recorded back when Uptone was running, and Wes... Oh, man, I wanted to look up his last name.
Warish?
Warish.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing it correctly.
I think you are, because I think I remember looking up saying Warish. That's got to be how you pronounce it.
I don't know how to pronounce it.
If we're not Wes, we apologize. We love you, Wes.
Yeah.
You know, you've been a big tribute to everything we've done, everyone.
I loved recording with Wes. He was great.
Yeah, so you know you're great. We're just sorry we can't pronounce your name. But he recorded some of the songs, and Clint Warner recorded some of the other ones. So... all the music's there. Again, some of the vocals are from that time, and the other vocals, I just got done working with Justin Taminga, who everybody might know, singer of the band. He put together with his kids Pig Snout.
Pig Snout, Assertion.
Assertion is something he's been doing recently.
Old Fools.
I've jammed with Justin in the past a couple of times. He's a fantastic human being. When I get a chance to look it up, I will say what his email is, because I want people to go to him. He records bands. He teaches music to kids. He's a phenomenal human being to work with. So if you want to even record your whole band, or if you want to do something simple like I just did, where I brought music and he was able to let me put my vocals over it. And these songs were, again, 95, 96. And I just now put the vocals on. So
All right. We'll hear one of those right now.
from the teasy, baby. Oh, boy. It's just pimpin'. I'm just dipping. Now, what you hear is not a test. Mac is a straight cat from the west. Pop collars, G's don't mess with stress. Top ballers, chicks still pitch for bread. And everywhere I go, I see the same old pro. Trying to play a spade hand and cut me short. But I'm not a cake man, I'll save some dope. A roundabout day, man, the nights to show. From the streets to the parking lot and up in the club. Homies showing love, blazing on some love. Behind brown steel cracks, some clucks the crips. Sloppy drunk winos, bloods and chicks. Light-skinned and chocolate, Puerto Rican and Asians. Bop chicks, gangsters, chicken heads and players. The town was down with everything, the streets don't sleep. The pros keep the traffic and the tweets keep eating. It's just pimpin'. Don't hate the game, baby, the game is gonna bring you fame. I'm just dipping. Road rash in the streets, the prince of the Northwest machine. It's just pimpin'. Bomb beats with C's, got Betty breaking it down for a G. I'm just dipping. 7 days a week and don't sleep cause the feds are creep. I keep it to the streets, never whack come with heat. My speech is unique cause I ride with the beat. And can dip on the club, hit and move the crowd. Bounce on the dang thing and make you wild. Sweet Mac, your girl, make her grandma proud. Stella got a groove back, compliments Bow Wow. See, the beat is the crack and the rap is the tweak. Squeeze, lay the beat, let your head bob with you. Serve your hood watch, gangsters, don't be scared. Throw your street tuck, it's all thugs in here. Shake your D-cups, baby, drop that back. Let me see you twerk something, I ain't flashing cash. It's all on the PC, it's nothing to a G. A hog on the street equals sex and police. We block monsters, make it happen, keep the hood cracking. 24, 7 days a week, man, it's just dipping. Don't hate the game, baby, the game is gonna bring you fame. I'm just dipping. Road rash in the streets, the prince of the Northwest machine. It's just dipping. Bomb beats for C's, got Betty breaking it down for a G. I'm just dipping. 7 days a week and don't sleep cause the feds are creep. Now you can bounce, walk, or just hit you a switch. Mob on the dance floor and knock you a chick. Game is internationally divided in creeds. You can pimp on the dank pro or slang some cheese. Pop collars, throw blows, slap some cheeks. And when it's all over, it's going down for C's. Lay out the red carpet, don't hurt the knee. Like Rick James, baby, she's a super freak. Alley cats like me, I'm a super G. When a thug in your life, come ride with me. Cause the party don't stop till the trees is gone. In the evergreen state, players keep a zone. And the haters vacate when the chief is home. Don't want no beef when the heat is on. And that's how I see 'em from the 253. Come bounce, give it up and pop peas with me. It's just pimpin'. Don't hate the game, baby, the game is gonna bring you fame. I'm just dipping. Road rash in the streets, the prince of the Northwest machine. It's just pimpin'. Bomb beats for C's, got Betty breaking it down for a G. I'm just dipping. 7 days a week and don't sleep cause the feds are creep. Hey, it's your player partner, Mac Measy, the prince of the Northwest, putting it down for the season. Just dipping, doing my thing, man. You know, you putting it down something vicious like this Bow Wow Records, putting it down for you, baby. Oh, boy.
So, we're back from songs now. Hello. Ashley, when she's here, she'll jingle us in, so I'm more aware of that we're back. We're back from songs. We just heard Just Drippin' by Mac Money, and before that we heard the whole Bolivian Army doing 1,000 Miles Away, and we heard Can't Keep It Up by Rusty Cleavers. We started this set off with 2 songs by Nadir, Rory and Killer, off of the forthcoming album. What's the album called? Bolt?
No, actually, this was the first full length after Stog, so it would be a second release. The title of it is...
Well, you've told me the title of it.
Yeah, and it's like I got a blank going on in my head right now, so that's okay. I'm going to look it up right here because I have it right in front of my face.
Yep.
Absence grow... Wait, hold on. Absent Hearts Grow Fonder.
Yes.
That's the name of the...
There you go. The new Nadir album, Absent Hearts Grow Fonder.
Yes.
Okay. That's all right. That right there illustrates just now you know what I go through every week, not knowing things that I know. I know the thing. Like there's so many times where I'm listening back to the show and I was like, wow, I just said this thing. It's like I knew the answer. I knew the thing I just did not say.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, how did I?
Well, our brain is a file, right?
Yeah.
We just got the drawers closed, maybe locked.
Yeah. Well, like I was describing while we were listening to the songs about the depth and scope of music that I wade through, which I can get hung up on very easily. Like if I'm stuck in a scene or an era like the 70s and I'm trying to find certain bands and details about bands from the 70s, I'm going down all these things. I'm not as much thinking about rap from the 90s or alternative music from the year 2005. Like I just get very absorbed into that thing that I'm very focused on at that moment. It's and sometimes if I can withdraw from it, well, if I withdraw too far, then I don't remember any of it. It's just not in my immediate recall. And like, so I have to stay kind of dip my toe in pretty consistently to maintain that familiarity with everything. But even still, the recall, and it gets harder and harder, like the immediacy of the recall, because I'm learning more and more or trying to keep track of more and more. Part of the reason why I work on the website and try to catalog this stuff so that I have that point of reference. Because again, that's something that's lacking, is a point of reference for so much of the local music that we are or aren't aware of individually or collectively. Anyway, yeah, those two songs, those the first two songs from the Nadir record there.
Yeah, first one was Killer. That one was recorded back in 96. Lyrics I just put on. That's one of the ones that I went into Justin Taminga's studio, which, by the way, you can reach Justin if you're interested in recording a band, doing something like this, or having your kids learn how to play music. You can reach him at, I think it's pronounced Rechus at Gmail, WRECHAUS at Gmail.
WRECH?
AUS.
AUS. Rec House?
Sure. Rec House. Yeah, I'm just... Sorry, Justin. Love you, man. Yeah, Killer was fun. That was the title that was given to that song back in the day. And I believe Talbot was on the verge of putting lyrics to it, and I didn't know what he was going to sing about. So I ended up making it easy on myself, and I sung about the dog that's in Half Baked.
Oh, yeah. Dog that's in Half Baked.
Yeah.
I remember Stephen Wright from Half Baked.
The guy on the couch.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was a big Stephen Wright fan, let me tell you.
Oh, yeah. I was too. He was fun.
I stole Stephen Wright's cassette tape from the Safeway out in Spanaway. I was in like ninth grade, and he had the cassette album out. We had the album out, I Have a Pony.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I stole that cassette from
Nice.
Safeway. Yeah, well, I'm not proud of it. Not necessarily, it's not a flex, but I did it.
But at the time, it was perfect for you because you got to laugh.
Yeah, like there were some things like I had a hard time justifying spending money on, like sometimes comedy records that I didn't know about, and sometimes, which, sounds shitty, but I was, 14, 13, something like that. And Striper. I remember stealing a Striper cassette from Tower Records, actually. My God, like, it was a stupid thing to steal. Like, I might have stole the Striper from Safeway. I stole something from Tower Records, though. And when I was walking out, the alarm went off, and it freaked me out, and I stopped because I was caught. But really, someone else was walking out with something in their bag that didn't get their tag taken off, and that was that.
Oh, sweet. So God saved you through Striper.
Well, it was
You're going to go home and listen to this, Potter.
and not like it. And I was like, this is what I risked my life for. It's like, Jesus Christ, what a dumbass. Yeah. Yeah, it was not good. To hell with the devil. Or
Yeah,
something.
they were not a very good band.
No.
Their hearts were in the right place.
I guess. I think they're still a band.
Yeah, I think they are. Yep. I remember when they lost the Bumblebee outfits, though, and they wore all black. It was like, it's time to rebel. It's like, but you're just doing what everybody else is doing, so I don't know what you're rebelling against.
Johnny Cash thing.
You were kind of rebelling when you were in the yellow and black. So speaking of rebellion, that second song, Rory, that was about a rebel friend, Dan Stone.
That's right.
As we know him as Dan Go.
Yeah.
Anybody who doesn't know who
Yeah,
this friend of ours is, he was given the nickname Dan Go because he was born with a nub covering his entire ear. His whole ear was just covered up. It was enclosed. You saw it was there. It just didn't pop open.
Didn't blossom.
And right, that's a good term. Didn't blossom. So he was an early on friend, and I remember he got the name from Scott Talbot's brother, Greg Talbot. Him and his friend were in Tacoma. They were trying to start a band together, so they asked myself to play the bass on it, and I believe they got Corey Lottis from Delilah to play drums on it. And Greg just out of nowhere, we brought up Dan's name. He said, "Oh, you're talking about Dan Go?" And we lost it. It was like perfect. It's like perfect. So that name just stuck with him. But yeah, that song was about him because he had an interesting game that only he could play. And after a while, you get used to it. But he would take a straw and he would bend the tip of it, and then he'd stand in a door jamb and he would hold that straw like this, and he'd just whack it up against the door jamb and just go, and then he'd wiggle it, and he's like, "What are you doing, man?" And in his mind, he was playing basketball against his nemesis, whose name was Rory. So, again, it got to the point where, you'd stand there and have a conversation with him, and he'd just pull a straw out of his back pocket and start doing that while talking to you. And then you'd just eventually, "Hey, you winning, man?" You just ask him, because it's part of who he was. He wasn't crazy. It's what he did. I mean, what can you do when your equilibrium is all on one end? Is the way I see it.
Crazy is subjective.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying that he is or wasn't. I'm just saying that, some people would say, no, that's crazy, or something's crazy, because we could illustrate other behavior, like a pumpkin suit and roller skates. It's like, oh, that's crazy, but that's not crazy either. It's just.
And you were putting two outfits, two moments together.
I feel like that at once the two did come together.
Did they come together?
Yeah, I'm not. I could be conflating two things.
I might have not
Yeah.
been there that day
Yeah.
because I'm sure it happened. I wouldn't doubt it.
Because again, I've heard different stories. I've just heard different things, lots of different little things, just like this. Yeah, nothing crazy. I mean, it is crazy depending on your point of view, I guess, perspective.
Right. Yeah.
Watching any of the Star Wars, I'm sure you are.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah,
I've been glued to it. I feel like, the haters can hate, but I feel like Jon Favreau is a Star Wars fan, and he is delivering everything we've been wanting since the original trilogy.
it's very much the kid in us playing with Star Wars toys.
Yeah.
Like that. There is that satisfaction in what is being delivered, for sure.
Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
a good way to put it, because you saying that, I noticed that, if I'm not mistaken, in the first season of The Mandalorian, he brought a vessel to the screen that was never brought on screen before, but it was one of the first vessels that they ever released as a toy.
Yeah.
And it was that Imperial cruiser that had the stormtroopers lined up in the side.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be
Troop transport.
a troop transport, but also you were able to take prisoners in it. So yeah, he brought that to life. There it was. I remember it pulling up, and I was like, "What? Huh?" It was fantastic.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been a lot of fan service, a lot of things that, or imagery or whatever that people have longed for, and they're delivering a lot of stuff. Now, I can levy a lot of criticism too. I look at things critically like this, so, but I fall somewhere in between. I definitely don't hate what's coming. I did not like the last trilogy, progressively worse and worse. Like that as a fan of the property, I did not care for it. But this stuff is much more in line with things that I think are true to the nature of the property, the intellectual property as a whole.
Yeah.
There's with Star Wars, generally speaking, comes verisimilitude. It's all encompassing. It exists, and the universe isn't generally broken, right? Like it's believable. Like a Harry Potter universe is like you see it and it's all there and it works and it functions. There's something about the old Star Wars Christmas special that breaks that, and that's why George Lucas hated it. It's like that. This breaks my beautiful thing.
Right.
This is dysfunctional in this.
Yeah.
So that's why he shuns that. But that and that's why he's worked so hard to maintain his whole continuity and look and feel of everything. With all that, part of the reason that he went back and updated the old stuff to make it keep up with the new stuff that he was doing. He just wanted to maintain that continuity, and he had a vision, and I feel like his vision was good. Like it wasn't perfect, and he could have used a lot more input in like the prequel trilogy when he was working on that, George Lucas, But other than that, I feel like he was a good caretaker of the property. He was the best caretaker of the property. And when it got into the hands of other people who weren't focused at all, then it lost a lot for me. It lost a lot of that continuity and verisimilitude, and I struggled with it personally.
Yeah, it makes sense. That all makes sense.
But the old stuff still holds up, and doesn't taint it for me. It could, I guess. I've been in my life subject to this. Like a band that I love comes out with an album. It's like, well, now none of their stuff is quite as good because this album sucks.
Right.
It's like, how could they do this?
Yeah.
Like, how could Celtic Frost release Vanity Nemesis?
Yeah.
Like, how did this happen?
Well,
I don't
know.
Shit like this happens.
Yep.
And we like have to eat it. He's like, no, this is us now. This is who we always were.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's some of those bands, though, that they do look back finally after many years and are like, we're sorry we did that.
Yeah.
So those are the bands I still like.
Yeah. Yeah. I was always betrayed by Motley Crue back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
I went and bought Theater Pain. It was like with birthday money. It was like, I'm going to go get this album.
That's the one you should have stole.
That's the one I should have stole for sure. For sure. Oh, man. Because I was hurt. This is probably what led me to steal. It was like...
No other band's going to satisfy me again.
Like, I had a really good track record as a child of like going in and buying records at face value. Literally, like, this album cover looks so cool, man.
Yeah.
And like, I'm buying it. Just like the song titles are great. The
Yeah.
album cover's cool. The band name's great. How can you lose?
Right.
And boy, you lost with Theater Pain.
Yeah.
Even looking back, like I just can't find a lot of like. I can ironically appreciate Home Sweet Home, like that. That and I'll take it back. There's a rocker on that record. I bet you. I remember it now. I'm thinking about it. Side 2, song 1. Bet you it rocks. Because side 2, song 1 of every Motley Crue record rocks.
Yeah.
That's just my memory. I don't know if it's correct.
Right.
Do you have some more Nadir songs you want to play?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right. Let's hear one. Which one's coming up next?
I believe it's going to be Of Whom He Seeks.
Yep, that's the one.
ain't right. You know you ain't right. You know you ain't right. And you know you ain't right. You know you ain't right. You know you ain't right. You've been stepping out, staggering a single swing when you know you ain't right. It's a shooting on the stands by some damn ring and you know you ain't right. Sitting like the view. Don't call me, I'll call you. How's a woman supposed to get to know a man? You know you ain't right. You know you ain't right. You know you ain't right. And you know you ain't right. You know you ain't right. You know you ain't right. You've been out good chasing with your highball lives and you know you ain't right. You got mad group number and you flip through mine and you know that ain't right. You say me like the view. Don't call me, I'll call you. How's a woman supposed to get to know a man when you ain't right, 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 right? You know you ain't right. You know you ain't right. You know you ain't right. And you know you ain't right. You know you ain't right. You know you ain't right. And yeah, I know you ain't right. You know you ain't right. You know you ain't right. And you know you ain't right. You know you ain't right. You know you ain't right. He said your face so yours. He said you just look nice on the floor. Oh, please. How's a woman supposed to get to know a man when you ain't right?
I can't get close to you. All these motherfucking thoughts that run my mind keeps a bind away from you. What am I supposed to do? Telling all the truth, whether hurting you, it hurts me too. I'm a fuck up, hardly had no luck. All I know to survive is only toughen up. I've been surrounded by pride, but it ain't enough. Feeling inside I died, deprived of fun stuff. Now look where I'm at. Everything achieved, I should have a plaque. Posted on the wall, small tokens in the game. I ran from all of my problems except my fucking name. Look in the mirror. Are you who you wanna be? Or do you believe there's more for you to achieve? And that's where I'm at. 31. I can't love like I used to. I feel stuck. Can I pull through? I'm a boss. All the shit that I've been through, I know that. But then I'm blown back. Feel the claws of a closed trap. Defeated, need a woman to open that. But lately feeling there's a closed gap. The sand in my time glass shows that. Too much time I've been spending independent. Then I'm sitting in the company of pictures of my old past.
the drugs you do. I wish that you'd come back home to me, back home to your family, the ones who love you, the ones who care, the ones that are always there for you. Come home, come
We heard a bunch of songs. We're back from those songs. We were having a conversation, but now we're back. You just heard a song called Admired by Nadir. You heard Kira Michelle do Come Home. You did A-Bomb do Love Life. Beauty School Dropouts did You Know You Ain't Right. And Nadir also started us off with Of Whom He Seeks.
So that particular song, Of Whom He Seeks, that was actually the recorded, again, all these songs were recorded in Uptown, but that was the first one I brought to the idea of putting vocals on it.
Yeah.
And I did it because I was in a band called Kyberox, and I wanted to cover the song. I wanted to be able to learn how Booty did those drums that he did on them and maybe bring my own feel into it, but definitely I wanted to drum on it. And so I thought, well, what better way to give it to the band other than in its entirety? And Ashley can learn, who was the singer at the time, could learn the vocals if there were vocals on it. So I took it to my brother-in-law, Jesse O'Donnell, who gave me, 20 minutes of his time to throw it together, and he did it.
Sweet.
And that's how I got the idea of putting the vocals on the rest of the songs. And Admire is originally, it's not called Admired.
I see.
It's originally called Admire.
Well,
But the song itself was a misprint based on how it was finished.
On the compilation, see, I remember it from the Redshift compilation, if I'm correct, right? Is that what it was on?
That's what it was on,
Redshift?
yep, Redshift.
Which was released by Nothing Major.
Nothing Major was the record store that released it, yep.
It's not that. And so, yeah, that song is previously released.
Yeah, and that was recorded with the vocals by Scott Talbot back in the day. And that was a funny one because we were all in the studio together with Wes, and for some reason Scott and Brandon had to bail early, so me and Wes were left together to finish it, and we decided to drop acid that night. And we were doing it, and of course, we were in that moment of mentality where it was like, oh, this sounds the best. This sounds so great. Oh, and we had it full blasting, and we were just in love with it. And the next day we played it for Scott, and I just remember he gave us this look. And then we really heard it for what it really was.
A little
after
sober, yeah.
The high went away with, and first thing Scott said when we were kind of like, ooh, I guess that wasn't good. He just said, you guys are never allowed to mix on acid again.
Yeah.
But it was released as it was. And I mean, it's got its own, little personality now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry you can't hear the kick drum at all in it, but, it was good times.
Yeah. That's how things are. Like, it's funny looking back now at being picky about recordings and how we treated some recordings. Like Papa Wheelie had a lost track for a while. Like, we recorded a song early on, and it was not a bad recorded. It was a very well recorded song, and there's nothing wrong with it. But for whatever reason, just wasn't us. Like, we didn't like it, and it was shelved, and it was lost. And it's a weird thing to do to a studio recording. Now, like for me, now it's very common now for people to do it. As you grow older. Whoops. There goes a camera. It was short-lived today. I didn't get it quite the charge it needed to do. But so we have that less to worry about.
Can you plug it in while it's recording?
I can't plug it in. No, there's no plugging it in. No, it's done now. We used to have two, but the other one died. So it's not uncommon. But then in a band like that isolated band with the few times as we recorded, every recording mattered. I mean, at the same time, we shelved a whole studio recording of like 9 or 10 songs we never did anything with also. But that to me was less of those were just demos. We went in to record demos. We didn't go to record an album or something to do something with. Like, so there's that. You have been in a bunch of bands other than Nadir over the years. You've been in C.F.A. and you've been in Dirty Thieves and you've been in Crash Landing, and you've mentioned a couple others. We've
Buck
got-
Wild was another one.
Buck
Buck
Wild's,
Wild's.
that's right.
That was, right after Dirty Thieves, 2 members and myself formed that band. We got a bass player, Mike Corvin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I actually took one of the Nadir songs you'll be hearing later and brought that to that band and sped it up than how Nadir played it. So, for
Lords
the
of the
longest,
Sith?
Lords of Sith, yeah. So, yeah, for the longest time, I've been rocking into that version. So it was kind of interesting to go back to this Nadir version, which is slowed down tremendously and put vocals on it. And I like it.
Yeah.
I like both versions of it. It was fun to do it both ways like that.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Sometimes our show has these awkward pauses. Most people edit those out. They're just terrified of the 5-second pause, the cringy moment where, oh, these guys don't know what they're doing. They don't know what to say. We leave those in.
Good. Well, I was pausing just so I could get to the next subject of.
That's okay.
Yeah. When I guess I could talk while I'm
No.
doing this.
There-
But
So I'm over this now, but there's still in my mind the almost automatic, conscious, subconscious necessity to fill the void of silence in a podcast. Because I listen to a lot of podcasting, and most of my entertainment is audio. Like just I'm listening to things while I do other stuff. So I'm conscious of the consistency of space being filled in time.
right.
And some people are actually really, really good at it. Like you just are natural. But also, again, part of the baked in part of the show is it's built in conversational. It's not set up to be like so much a delivery system or vignette for thing. Like we're doing it, but it's being done organically through the process of conversation.
Right.
It's not like, you're not plugging a show, not out plugging your latest book or record, on the David Letterman show or the whatever show.
Yeah.
It's not that formal. I'm not that formal. I'm not that guy. If I had to be prepared like that, I would not be as good at it. I'd be awkward.
Yeah.
And then it'd be forced to be edited all to shit.
Yeah.
Which
There's a lot more work into it.
I don't got time for that.
Yeah.
Like if I deliver a product where I can just be authentic all the time, then I don't have to make any edits.
Yeah.
Yeah. Although it's the one thing about when the camera's not on, is you can make edits anywhere.
Right.
Yeah. They'll never know. All right. So anyway.
So I was going to mention in the band Buck Wilds was when, first Dirty Thieves, we brought Jesse O'Donnell into that band because I was living with him at the time. And he had his own recording studio, Autopsy Recording. And since then, he's gone to do his things. I've been doing mine. But then we got back together when I got Kyberox going. I brought Kyberox in to record there. And matter of fact, C.F.A. recorded some covers there. We did 3 covers at Jesse's place. But, Jesse has been in the band Noise for a few years now. Mm-hmm. And Nate Leinfelder, who's in that band as well, he had a bunch of songs on the side that he brought to Jesse, and Jesse suggested I come in and do the drumming. So we recorded like 5 songs, I think, 4 or 5 songs. They've both moved different states, but somewhere down the line, Nate mentioned he wanted to release it as a 7-inch, the songs. It's just a matter of the time being able to put into it.
Yeah.
So
That's rad.
Yeah, but the recordings came out really good. Yeah, so that's the last thing I've recorded. I've been in the studio to do. Hoping to go in there sometime, do something else. Been jamming with a couple other projects. No names yet, but ironically, both projects are a married couple. Mm-hmm. It's pretty interesting.
That's convenient.
Yeah.
They can carpool.
Yep.
Yep.
That's what they do. That's what they do.
Well, usually I fill a lot of this time with idle banter about pop culture or what's going on, music, whatever, movies, trivia, TV. Keep up with the Marvel stuff.
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I love Marvel. I mean, it's just as entertaining to me as Star Wars.
It's honestly, they've done the reason why it's as good, it's as well received, is because they treat it like old Star Wars was treated, like, and a lot of the newer Star Wars is being treated. They're just very, very, like, they're really delivering. Like of course they've got 60 years to draw from.
Yeah.
But, my God, like, and I'm not saying anything like that's, isn't obvious, but it's just like, and I'm getting a little fatigued. I don't follow it as closely as I used to, but it's still very good. Like, just very quality storytelling on the whole.
Mm-hmm.
They have some ups and downs. They're not going to appeal to everyone, but they are doing such a good job of translating the comic universe as a whole into a cinematic universe.
Yeah.
And so for me, like, as a casual fan of whatever, like, film's kind of canon. Like, that's what is, like Star Wars, the films, that's canon. All the other stuff is cool, but it might not be canonical. Even in the olden days, it wasn't always all canonical to me. Sometimes they were always still legends, or maybe not true. Because we had, like, in the early days of Star Wars, you had Splinter of the Mind's Eye. Splinter of the Mind's Eye immediately became relegated to non-canon because Empire came and changed all the stuff. Splinter of the Mind's Eye was the original paperback sequel to Star Wars.
Right.
But it was a sequel that George Lucas commissioned so he could have a cheap alternative to Empire in case Star Wars flopped, and he had to do a low-budget sequel. So when Star Wars was a huge success, he said, "Oh, fuck that story. Let's do a big, fucking awesome story." So he did Empire. And then you also had Han Solo stories. There was Han Solo at Star's End and Han Solo and the Lost Legacy, and there was another one. These stories became non-canon when the new canon stories started coming out in the 90s. That's when that whole wave of Heir to the Empire and the Thrawn trilogy and all that stuff started coming out. Those things were new canon, but then when the new Star Wars was sold to Disney, all that old stuff became non-canonical legend stories. They're no longer part of the universe. Now they cherry-picked from that and put a lot of that into the modern era, like Thrawn has now been put into the stuff. So that stuff does exist, but it doesn't all exist in exactly the same way.
Right.
Those exact events didn't happen like they did in the old days with those characters, which is fine. They're using them for the most part good. That's what Marvel's doing so well. They're picking all that stuff and putting it together and making it amazing.
Yeah.
And so even the stuff that I'm really not a big fan of in comics, they're doing a lot better. They're making it, giving it good grounding points and tangibility, like the multiverse stuff. Because I don't like multiverse stuff. I don't like multiple characters of the same character.
Right.
I just think that that's so cheap and such, like, I get the convenience of it and the vast possibilities it opens up, but it's not really the door I want open.
Yeah.
Ever. It's like, it's exhausting. Now we've got, like, one of the cheapest tropes, the cheapest, weakest plot devices in cinema or television is you with a mustache on being evil. Like,
Yeah, well, they did that in Star Trek.
They do it in everything.
Yep,
There's a Space Ghost episode where Space Ghost has just got a mustache and now
Right.
he's Chad and he's
Yep.
evil. It's like, it's funny in Space Ghost, but still, like, it's funny because it's ironic. But and also it actually does, like, it can be funny. But that's where it all comes down to with me. And also, if they keep going this route, they're eventually going to start, because they already are, especially with DC. DC's culled a lot of the stuff that was kind of the worst parts of their comic universe and thrust them to the foreground as their cinematic universe. And I felt that was a mistake. if Marvel starts culling from some of those bad things, then it could be. I doubt they will, but like Spider-Man becoming a clone. This is a big, bad, horrible part of the comic world when it was revealed that Peter Parker wasn't Peter Parker and he was a clone, and all the stories you've been reading for like 3 to 5 years, all lies, not your story, not your Spider-Man. Your Spider-Man's living somewhere else, a happy life. It's like, I don't know exactly what it was. I just remember it being a big issue.
Yeah.
If you're a friend of Matt Sater in the 90s, you heard about it too.
Right.
couldn't escape it. Anyway, moving on. We've got a few more songs of yours to play before we wrap up the day. We're going to have one more set of songs. I don't know what's coming up next because I'm on the wrong screen here. But
well, the next song that should be playing by us is Depriest.
Why don't we hear it right now?
stop. Grown niggas stay fly when they see you riding by. They like, I see you doing work, all that money on your mind. If you thinking how I think, then you always on the grind. Always on the grind, always on the grind. Hustling while you sleep, cause I'm always on the grind. Always on the grind, always on the grind. If you thinking how I think, getting money on your mind. 501 dinner, big balls in them. First name boy, last name killer. Ask them J's, I bet they say I kill her. Wanna lock me up, the bell worth $1 million. Bitch, I'm in the building, hustle no ceiling. Full of ambition, jealousy be killing. No sympathy, better hide what you're dealing. They setting snitches free, and homicide the realest. Cold misery, I stay cold-hearted, and it's no mystery how it all started. Jumped in the game, now my bounce is so retarded. Above rim, I'm over your head, Vince Carter. I think my mind lost, but my team winning. We rolling stone, call him John Lennon. Got that granddaddy, call me the Perk King. When the money call, I answer on the first ring. Rising to the top, the grind will never stop. Grown niggas stay fly when they see you riding by. They like, I see you doing work, all that money on your mind. If you thinking how I think, then you always on the grind. Always on the grind, always on the grind. Hustling while you sleep, cause I'm always on the grind. Always on the grind, always on the grind. If you thinking how I think, getting money on your mind.
We're back. We're not on camera, so don't have to be self-conscious about that. You just heard... Where's my glasses? My glasses are now on. What was that song, Dave?
That last song that just played was High Mile.
High Mile, off the forthcoming Nadir album, Absent Hearts Grow Fonder. Is that how it's called?
Yep.
All right. Yeah.
And then the one before that was Depriest.
Yeah, that was what we started the set off with. So we're wrapping this show up now. It's getting late. People got things to do. I want to thank you for coming and sharing the songs and stories and stuff, and it was great. And there'll be more surprises from you in the future also.
Yeah.
Some other surprise recordings that we'll hear down the line. You got a few more songs that we're going to seed throughout in the last segment of the show. Last segment of our show is a bunch of songs. After we're done talking here and we say our goodbyes and do our plugs and stuff, then they'll hear a bunch of songs, and so they'll be hearing two or three more.
Three more
songs.
Yep.
Yeah. So sorry we don't got time to like sit and talk about them now, but it is that time of the show. We only got so much space and time and storage on our website. But.
Right. And I mean, these songs were like 9 minutes long a piece, so we went on that epic route.
That's okay.
But again, that first song you heard that we played, White Lead, that was a 6-minute song, and I realized, man, I started writing epic songs pretty early on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny when playing with C.F.A, and then Cody he wouldn't have anything under 3 minutes. Or over 3 minutes, I should say. I mean, 3 minutes was still cutting it for him. And I remember bringing a song to him that I was like, okay, man, I want to play this song with you guys. And he right away said, man, that's too long. And I said, no, just learn it. And when he learned it, he realized even though there was 3 or 4 parts to it, he realized that I cut those parts short enough that each part was the length of a song he wanted. So he realized he played 3 songs in a row because it didn't bore him, and that's why he was able to pull off 4 minutes. I got him 4 minutes.
You also you just incidentally also just illustrated a really great give and take there of a person who's able to say to you, "That's too long."
Yeah,
I don't like it because it's too long, and to me that really touches my heart to be able to approach a bandmate and be able to say, that's too long, and that's why I don't want to play it is because it's too long, and you pushing back and saying, well, no, here, try it, and then winning him over based on for whatever reason, because there should be that give and take, and there isn't always, and not everyone is that conducive to it. Some people don't like it. Some people will give in, but they'll resent you for it.
Yeah.
Secret.
And I mean, it was funny though, because the way he didn't resent was the fact that once he learned it and he played it all the way through, he looked up and he said, man, that didn't feel very long.
Yeah.
Because again, the parts were different. So he was able to change and not go back and repeat the same thing, which is what he was getting at about not liking long songs.
Well, he used to play a lot longer songs.
I know he did, which to me is what's ironic. The fact that before I met him, he wasn't who he is now in any way, physically or any. So,
It's funny. All right. Well, we got a couple more songs. We're going to what are the songs we're going to hear in the next
So the songs that'll come up next will be Lords of Sith, Son of Man, and Smoke Show. Lords of Sith was one of the songs I wrote back then. I didn't put vocals on it then, but I went and did it recently, and it came so natural because that was one of the songs I sang. The following one, though, Son of Man, that was actually originally titled Jesus Manson. Talbot came up with it, and as much as I respect what it was about and where it was going, I didn't go with that title.
Yeah.
Because to me, what he was describing was what Slayer does. And I admire Slayer tremendously, where they take the ugly and they sing about it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do that. So I decided to sing about something a little more positive and upfront. And then Smoke Show, that was a song that Talbot wrote, his second of what possibly would have been trilogies about Wooderson from Dazed and Confused. Because on Stog, we have Rotted Out Muscle Car. This song, Smoke Show,
Sweet.
was another Wooderson influence song, and so he's singing on it. So that was definitely
rad.
the second or the third of 3 songs that we have on here where the vocals were pre-done.
And the one featuring him.
Yep, Smoke Show. Yeah, that was
That's cool.
That was him, and he sang the song "Admire."
Oh yeah.
So those
That's
are the only
great.
2 songs on here where he's actually vocaling.
Hey, that's great.
Which I'm
though.
glad though.
Yeah. No, that's really. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, we just didn't have the record done
Yeah.
with vocals on it. So that's
Yeah, I
why
think this is great. Like, this is kind of the stuff that I'm really, really into. Because there's a lot of this. There's a lot of people with sitting on an album. They're just sitting there with an album, you know, and they don't have it. It was unreleased. Like, bands who had a couple of releases and then broke up with an album in the can. And, like, there's 1 in every 5 bands has one. Like, they're just out there. Recordings, songs, or albums that are just being unheard. And there are recordings that have been released that go unheard now. They just sit on shelves. After a few years, you know, there's a certain longevity and shelf life that people believe music has, but really, music lives forever. Like, and that's one of the reasons why I started doing the show, is to dig all this stuff up and give it a place to be circulated and heard. So yeah, this is rad that you went back and been able to revisit this and share it with other people.
I'm really glad I did it. I've been sitting on these songs. I remember the day when Wes put them down onto a CD for me, and I still have that original CD. And I never thought I was going to do this to him. I never thought it just never dawned on me, and I'm glad it did.
Yeah.
I'm glad everybody got to hear him, because I know there was a lot of fans out there of Nadir, and all they got was 5 songs.
Yeah.
Well, 7 total because of the 2 that were released on comps.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Rory, we also released on that MAWP comp. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, that always drove me crazy. Absolutely. I mean, I actually have a bunch of your stuff. Like, I ended up getting it about 15 years ago or so. But nonetheless, it isn't out there being heard. And now it can be. So you're going to have this on Bandcamp.
I'm going to put it up on a Bandcamp.
Yep.
I decided to do this. You gave me the inspiration, actually, believe it or not.
That's great.
A while back. And so I've already established the Stog EP on Bandcamp, and I'm going to add this one after everybody's heard it here on the show.
Sweet. Well, that'll be coming up this week. Thanks a lot for coming, and your links will be in the descriptions down below with everything else, and links to all the other bands we played are in the descriptions down below. I'm looking at a camera. The camera's not on. Yeah. Thanks for listening and sharing the show and everything you all do. We love you all and your audience. The audience is great, and want to thank Dave for coming out and go and check out that record that he's releasing, and the Stog that's now on Bandcamp. That's great too. It's good to hear, because that's another thing I want, is for people to put their old stuff on Bandcamp. There's all these things that are sitting out there. That's a perfectly viable outlet for, like, old music. It's the way that music can live forever. Bandcamp's such a great resource. I love that site above almost any other. Anyway, thanks a lot for everyone.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Pawn Stars.
What it do? I'm that bug nasty grew up with the piercings and the tattoos. I refuse to settle for anything less than what I know I'm due. Get those wallets out and pay, baby. Fuck you, I'm incredible, tasty, tender, and edible. A magical blend of flavors that you find incomprehensible. I know I look droppable, sticky, sun-kissed, unstoppable. They handle the sublingual quality, just got the topical. You pussy nigga.
Take all of my burdens and bind them with the things you hate. Burn off the corners and one until you think you found the right vessel. Take out your mortar and pestle, it's time to grind. Bring the shit up into a paste. Slather it everywhere, don't let any go to waste. You love the feeling, but choose whoever it takes. It's a ritual every night, it's habitual, and I can't stop, I can't stop.
That cultural context that cause people see cheeks, baby, as the cultural punk with that. Does not feel confident about that confidence, content that like I still cannot close my eyes, I still left the conscious that I crawl that I make it cool and up, she little creature, a leopard doctor, wasn't soon, but a patient cake for a feature. She listen closely, C.O.A.T.A.T.G.U.A.Y.A.B.A. Right down my Gmail, get my email if you want me to play. Cause I feel like which midnight march, mariposa de la muerte. To be better cross the threshold, to bring the mala suerte. Wait for the night, lock it up tight. Dig it that image you chased in the when you kept it demo down, but you forgot to leave your windows open. So I flutter to each corner of the room. You watch me go a harbinger of doom. You wanna zoom a zoom, but on the low, cause all you see in me is a Bremelo who still lives at home. But if you knew what I could show you, I just know that you would.
Take all of my burdens and bind them with the things you hate. Burn off the corners and one until you think you found the right vessel. Take out your mortar and pestle, it's time to grind. Bring the shit up into a paste. Slather it everywhere, don't let any go to waste. You love the feeling, but chose whoever hit the taste. It's a ritual every night, it's a ritual, and I can't stop, I can't stop.
Troubled times, yeah, we've had them all. You pick up the pieces just to watch them fall. So many nights I got down and prayed one more tomorrow, but just another day. I just can't get you out of my head, out of my head, out of my head. I just can't get you out of my head, out of my head, out of my head. Well, I know I've said so many things without even thinking of the hate that it brings. Why'd you ever come back to me? Well, I tried to be the man you wanted me to be.
just can't get you out of my head. Out of my head. Out of my head. I just can't get you out of my head. Out of my head. Out of my head. I just can't get you out of my head. Out of my head. Out of my head. Troubled times, yeah, we've had them all. You pick up the pieces just to watch them fall.
Did you ever think I would tell you? Did you ever think I'd fall down? And I'm so sorry, but I just can't find my way. And I need you to hold me one more day. I spent my whole life chasing down my dreams. Couldn't believe I wouldn't succeed. I failed to see this life surrounding me. Now I've come to ask you, please. Fly with me, we'll never hit the ground. Spread your wings with me and never look back down. Fly with me, I promise never to let go. Spend my whole life with you, falling back in love. Now you've heard what I have to tell you. Seems my future's left in your hands. Please forgive me, I've opened up my eyes, and I could not see my life without you. No, I could not see my life without you. Fly with me, we'll never hit the ground. Spread your wings with me and never look back down. Fly with me, I promise never to let go. Spend my whole life with you, falling back in love.
Hey man, this is that real nigga shit right here, man. You dig? Floating in the pool of blood, really trying to feel the love. The pain got me hella numb, my heart's not beating like a drum. This liquor got me hella done, I'm feeling stressed. Don't know where I'm I'm going. Day by day, I be swimming in my thoughts, floating in this ocean. Smoking on that Keisha, going through emotions. Nigga, you only live once, so live for the moment. Never fall off your path, just stay focused. It's hard to stay in your lane, my nigga keep smoking. Fuck what these niggas got to say, yeah they joking. Niggas ain't making no cash, that nigga's hopeless. It's business before pleasure, nigga. I keep floating, nigga.
Yeah, I'm floating on this ocean, and I don't know where I'm going. I'm floating on this ocean, and I don't know where I'm going. I'm floating on this ocean, and I don't know where I'm going. Floating, floating, floating.
They say love brings misery. Shit, where the bud at? Emotions get the best of me. I'm yelling where the drinks at. Me cool and copacetic in the ocean mind state. Surfing through time, meditating by the dock, by the bay. Getting fucking half baked, smelling like it's my birthday. And when I die, my soul will be in a rapper's mind state. I'm floating, don't know where I'm going. So lost in this reality, bringing down my vitality. My thoughts so connected to the galaxy. Sipping up passion with my family. Athlete, living in the land of kings. I just really wanna be a human being. Can't you see? Creatures in the night trying to really fucking take my dreams.
Yeah, I'm floating on this ocean, and I don't know where I'm going. I'm floating on this ocean, and I don't know where I'm going. I'm floating on this ocean, and I don't know where I'm going. Floating, 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 yeah, I'm going through emotions, I'm going through these motions, sipping on this potion, and I don't know where I'm going.
yes you was. Yes, I'm a poor boy. You told me to be strong. When I was down, Lord, no, you wouldn't help me. I was all alone. Don't turn your back, baby. Lord, no, 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 girl, yeah. Find yourself another fool to do the things you wanna. Find yourself another fool to do the things you wanna. Given up to you, yeah. I cried every night, I treated you right. You took advantage of me, you told me that you love me, but you were only telling me lies. Lord, yes you was. When I was torn down, you wouldn't let me hang around. Make it all alone. Don't turn your back, girl. Yes, I need you. Got to have you. Lord, no, no.
judge off the things we say. I don't give a fuck. And don't believe that we live this way. I don't give a fuck. You can say what you want, I'ma do it anyway. Cause I don't give a fuck.
Fuck you haters and watch me rise. Ain't no punk, I've had a rough life, you bustlers bunk. Scared of my skills, I've had prepared to fight. They call me the dirty D, I see us stuttering when I'm coming with this heat. Daniel's killing tracks, ooh-wee. Here I go and I'm getting it faster, but luckily bloody, not better than crackers. Rocking my hat and I'm wearing it backwards. Cut to the right, but loud, I'm plastered. But bitch, I'm coming up from the SCA, not giving a fuck. Hip-hop rock, y'all know what's up. Here I come grabbing my nuts.
You don't wanna fuck with us. We don't give a fuck.
If they try to hate on the moves we make, I don't give a fuck. So quick to judge off the things we say, I don't give a fuck. And don't believe that we live this way, I don't give a fuck. You can say what you want,
George Zelaya,
anyway.
Girl,
I don't give
check.
a fuck.
I don't give a fuck if they wanna come and check me. They better come correctly, thinking they gon' disrespect me. Popping off like your shit's really gonna offend me. How can you not commend me knowing you the one pretending? I got a heavy hand, right here I steady stand. Quit playing roles of a hater, you just another fan, just another stand. Typical dick rider, a straight faggot type to go and let it dig inside you. See, this is my business, rocking until I'm finished. Cause from the start, jealousy's played a major role in it. And yeah, there's evidence, and I'm facing negligence. I'm nice when I write like you complimented my penmanship. And I'm a benefit from your talking anyway. I break patterns, get fatter when we'll wrap y'all up any day. I just don't give a damn, homie, this is my notion. So keep talking shit, I'm digging the promotion. I don't give a fuck.
They trying to hate on the moves we make, I don't give a fuck. So quick to judge off the things we say, I don't give a fuck. And don't believe that we live this way, I don't give a fuck. You can say what you want, I'ma do it anyway. I don't give a
Yo, I don't give a fuck if you don't like me, cause you're likely jealous of my success in the game. I've been blessed with a flame that keeps on burning while you keep on turning green with envy. And these haters pop a lot of shit, but why they wanna be against me? It's all good though, cause I'ma keep on doing this here while you keep blurring the line between you and a queer. Yeah, I spit that shit that got them stuck like crack pipes. I rap tight, so show respect, you fuckers better act right or get smacked like Debo did Debbie and Friday. It's my way or the highway. I really don't know why they continually wanna try their luck with me. You suck, so please shut the fuck up and listen. Don't try to fuck with me, I'm sucker free. And yeah, you butt to me, that's all there is to it, yo. Musta got dropped in your head for thinking you can blow and thinking you can blow. Yo, start giving up. You can say the same about me, but I don't give a fuck.
If they try to hate on the moves we make, I don't give a fuck. So quick to judge off the things we say, I don't give a fuck. And don't believe that